they wait for a break in the conversation. So I think, presence has often meant that women have got a little bit lost. I think it's great now we're going back into the offices, that, people are starting to feel that presence. But I think what also got quite lost and quite hidden during COVID was the job that women do to hold teams together and to look out for each other, especially when you're working remote, to care for team members, because, we're facing a war on talent at the moment. People are fighting for people everywhere. The people that held your company together by making people feel a sense of connection to it, that's a hidden job. And it was often done by a lot of women. So, selling projects, winning work, that's often, very overtly celebrated. But the other stuff that goes on in the background isn't so often called out. And I think a lot of women have talked about, the hidden jobs that they do in workplaces. And then I think the other one, that is a big one is imposter syndrome. And we run so many events on imposter syndrome. And I think for me, it's a really interesting one, because I think it's twice as hard as in innovation. So if you think imposter syndrome is not feeling confident, feeling that you're a fraud, in innovation, we're actually creating the future as well. So we're not even telling people something real. We're saying, okay, believe me, but also believe this thing that doesn't yet exist. So I think imposter syndrome feels like it's doubly hard when you work in the innovation space, because it's, you're telling people to believe into two sets of things. So it feels like twice as hard. So we do a lot of work in education in that space of helping women build their presence, feel confident in their message, but then learn what does that mean within the innovation space specifically as well.
So tell me more about the imposter syndrome, because I understand what that means. I have a few friends that really experience that, but I don't understand why so many women has that, and maybe why it's even more stronger right now. So what goes through their mind when they're having that?
I think a lot of it is to do with, the school system and how we grow up. If you're a girl and you're loud, you're often called bossy or you're called pushy. It's the way that society often reacts to women exhibiting the traits of a great male speaker. So you're seen, you're shut down. And I know Pantene ran a brilliant campaign a couple of years ago where they called out the difference between men and women. So if a woman's up at the podium and she's shouting, she's called bossy and overbearing, yet a man is called, inspiring and motivating. Even just those little things. So I think a lot of women at school and throughout their education are conscious of not being loud and being present and being heard. And then that, when you come into the workplace, follows them through. And they often wait to be asked rather than giving their opinions first.
Yeah. But I sometimes I talk to women, and sometimes it's like young women, students even. And I know that in general, women have more degrees than men, and they're better in school than men. They get better grades, even in science. That is like they're less female students, but they're getting better grades. Although there are like these ones who are the very, very smart ones are usually men, or the very less smart ones are usually men, like in the end of the curve. But I think that they know that they are good, they get the grades, they know, and still when they come, it seems because it's in many cases a manly company or a manly atmosphere going there. They are just getting two steps back, and they don't believe that they should earn the position being there, and that's why is it? It's so strange, right?
It is, and I think there's a bit of a Harvard Business Review did a study of this, and they talked about, when you go to your promotion review, most women will be doing the job a level above them because they want to have the confidence that they can do the job, and then they expect to be given the promotion. Whereas a lot of men go into a review and go, well, I could do that job. If you give it to me, then I'll do it. So you've got two very different mindsets of, people who want to feel confident that they've earned it, that they can do it, so that, then it's about recognition, versus, the other way is about, well, if you give it to me, then I'll show you what I can do. And I think often women like to feel confident that they are doing it, and then they step outside of their comfort zone a little bit more. But I think in our last chat we talked a lot about sponsorship, and a lot of sponsorship is about getting someone who will open up those opportunities that challenge you. because I
Yeah.
think we naturally hold ourselves back. And if someone gives you the opportunity, people always step up and they always shine. But there's that fear holding you back from just stepping a little bit outside your comfort zone, which is when, you do your great work, and that's when you accelerating through your career.
Yeah, I think that women sometimes take things too personally. After all, it's business, and the employer wants to pay you as less as possible. You want to get more than like, and there is this negotiation, and it's not like they're against you or they don't appreciate you. They would like to get your best of talents and to pay as much as they can, and not more than that. And you're on the other end of the negotiation, need to present yourself differently. And I know that women, when they come to their first job interview, they would usually ask less